First of all, let me thank you, Al-Sharq, and also Afro Middle East Center of South Africa. And let me also, in the beginning, emphasize that what I say is my own. I'm not officially here. Usually I do it by a joke, if I am allowed. The joke, of course, is different from the other time. The joke is what's different between a diplomat, a scholar, and a general, and the answer is a general is paid to die for his country in wars. An ambassador is paid to lie about his country, and a professor is paid to explain why and how and in what format these guys die and lie. So I'm on this, you know, I don't have much hair, but I have two hats, so I use the academic hat to answer your question. I think there are a lot of course, issues in the region. One, of course, is analysis. And I think analysis is key, because analysis tells you what the scene is and how you see it. And I think this is very important to have a good picture. Like a doctor, you know, when you go for, let's say, a treatment, he should or she should have a picture of your, let's say, bodies. Sometimes they give x-rays or other tests in order to see how it functions. But in social sciences with normative angles that we start with, sometimes the picture is what we want to get, not what it is in reality. So I think here what's important is analysis, and more important than is over assumptions, how you start with. So in answering your question, and actually I thought about how a regional security arrangement can be looked from an Iranian perspective, not the Iranian perspective, I came to ABC. A, assumptions. B, beliefs. And C, cooperation exigencies or practicalities. Let me quickly go to this, and I think this is by itself an analysis. First, I think assumptions are key, because, as I said, assumptions is your starting point. And there are a lot of assumptions about regional arrangement or security arrangement in this region. Some of them are false. And I identified at least three, let's say, assumptions that people have or write in their writings. One is what I call impossibility assumption, that it is impossible to cooperate in the Middle East because of the nature of the Middle East, nature of the states, nature of some people go even to the people, and so on and so forth. So they show that, and I think mostly it's a Western view, to keep you know, this region in a state of chaotic situation, or organize it in the way that they want, by saying that it's impossible that regional players have a secret arrangement from within. Second assumption, I call it similarity assumption, that they use this ASEAN and the EU as models, that we can apply this. So I think you can get lessons from these two areas, but this region is totally different from ASEAN region and from Europe, though there are some similarities, but similarities are not enough to draw, let's say, the format. The third assumption, which is wrong, I call it auxiliary assumption, that we need a big power as an auxiliary force to come and organize the region and to have security arrangement. I think all of them negate the realities of region. And the region is very complex. The region has multiple layers of actors, crises, problems, and I think issues and challenges. So if assumptions are wrong, I go to my B. B is belief. We have to have a belief that the region can solve itself, its own problem. Maybe it is funny for some people, but I do believe it. And here I would have three quick points. First, I think there is a need for a regional self-confidence. Regional self-confidence, that the region can solve itself, its problem. And I think if now we are getting to the 40th anniversary of Iranian Revolution, for me as a student, as a person raised in revolution, maybe the most important lesson of Iranian Revolution is self-confidence, that you can do it. They were saying that Iranian Revolution is an impossibility, but it was, and now it is in its 40th year. And I think we have a national self-confidence that we can manage the issues and challenges. The same applies to the region. I think, first of all, there should be national self-confidence created in a different place of the region. Finally, there should be a regional self-confidence, which I'm sure it would emerge. Second belief, I think, is belief in regional connectivity. We are not Europe. We are not South Asia. This region is one region. I have one example. I'm happy that I'm talking in Turkey. You have Maulana here, huh? Where is Maulana's grave? In Wunia. Where was he born? In Balkh. Where is Balkh today? In Afghanistan. In which language did his poetry, which is a universal poetry, and that is Persian. So Maulana is welcomed, appreciated through the region as a figure that finished? I can stop. Oh, I can stop. In the region, this is, you know, the Western style. No, I finish very quickly. Maulana is a symbol of connectivity of this region. I can talk on the regional connectivity, which has been actually impaired by imperial interventions during not just last century, few last centuries, the past. Finally, I think there should be a belief that there is a regional space emerged after the collapse of Soviet Union. And I think that's very important to identify. Now, if we compare it with the Cold War time, any regional arrangement was vertical, coming from the top. NATO, CENTO, CETO, and all this we had. Now, horizontal cooperation is possible. And this is key for our understanding. And we should believe in it, that regional players, big or small, can have a role. So let me go myself quickly. I think, if the belief for cooperation is needed and is a possibility, then cooperation has some requirements. Most of all, we have to find the scope. We cannot be very big, but we have to be very practical. The scope is very important. Second, I think there should be pockets of cooperation, and pockets of cooperation in decision cannot be without pockets of resistance. We should resist impositions of the others. And I think there are now so-called pushback policy to push back Iran, to push back Turkey from the region. And we have to resist. There are pushback about making our size somehow different. I think we have to resist. Finally, I think there are urgent issues in the Persian Gulf, especially in Levant, that can be picked as issues and work on with. Our foreign minister had a suggestion. 2 weeks ago, he registered it in his speech at United Nations high-level meeting on sustainable peace, and that is to have a region, a strong region, with win-win solution, not being exclusive, with inclusivity of all littoral states of the Persian Gulf. And I think it's, with reference to Resolution 598, operative paragraph number 8, I think that is where it can be a focus and a lot of challenges can be managed. Now I want to get to Syria in that you asked, but I know that I don't have time, so I answer later.
Yeah, thank you very much.